Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Done Radio Hour. This week we have your post-mortem on Pornstar Detectives. That series is over. All 20 episodes have been posted. And other than some reruns, and then a couple of characters might show up some other places, a couple of them will get to that soon enough. Just keep listening to the story. If you like Pornstar Detectives and you're sad it ended, we've got a little bit more coming for you, even though the series itself is over. If you didn't like Pornstar Detectives, no worries. There's only a tiny bit more layered into other places. So this was pretty much it. But if you didn't like Pornstar Detectives, you probably won't like this episode, because this is the Pornstar Detectives cast talking about their roles in Pornstar Detectives and their feelings on the series and what they think about it being done. So give that a listen. If you like to hear that behind-the-scenes discussion stuff, might I recommend another podcast on our network. It's all been trekked before. Steven, Keith, Jimmy, Jerome, and assorted friends are working their way through Star Trek one episode at a time. They finished the original series. They're well into the animated series from the 70s now. And by the end of the year, they'll go through the first few movies and get into the next generation. So lots of episodes already released you can listen to. There's special episodes too on other things that are related to Star Trek, like the 1976 version of Freaky Friday, the Disney movie. You might not know how it's related. Go listen to it. You'll see. All of that can be found on our host network site, IABDpresents.com. That's It's All Been Done Presents. So check that out. Shout out to Mad Lab Theater, our wonderful host site that we love dearly. We hope you'll come see their shows, including ours, but also the other shows they do, because they're always excellent. And Circle 270 Media, which this podcast is a part of. Enjoy the show. Welcome out to our second story roundtable. We are talking Pornstar Detectives here on the day of the Pornstar Detectives series finale, and we have most of the important core cast members gathered together today. First, we have Samantha Stark, who plays Stacy XXX.
Hi.
We have Dallas Ray as Director-Manager Bruce.
Hi.
Joe Morales, who played Stacy's nephew Brentley.
Hello.
And Shane Stefanchik, who was the sex toy owner, Larry.
Yeah, how you doing?
And then
Store owner, not just a sex toy.
he owns lots of sex toys.
Everybody did their voices. I just was like, hey. It's just my voice.
We're here to talk about the finale of Pornstar Detectives. We've completed its run after today. There will be no more, sadly. So, 20 episodes in. What did you guys first think when you heard that this was a segment we were doing?
I was down with it right away. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, yes, and I want to be one of them.
Well, it was one of the segments I used to sell you on the show itself.
Yes, it was. I was told about it very early on because I was, friends with you and Nick for about 2 years before the show started. You guys had brought me in and said, okay, we're going to do this, and, we're thinking of this thing, and I was like, that's hilarious, and I think it's brilliant. Let's do it.
It's the one that stuck out to me the most because it was porn stars, but also detectives.
High five.
Why not put them together?
Yeah, an outrageous... How scandalous.
Yeah, it was the most outrageous one. Because at least I was like, out of all the roles, I want to be in this one. I don't care. I said, if I don't get in anything, if I'm in this one, I'm fine. And that was all that mattered. I was like, I'm in.
So, does that mean you guys think it's a mistake to end it right now?
Next question, please.
The political landscape has changed a little bit since we started.
Yeah.
I think also just, story-wise, we found new life in the 2019.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of like ending. It seemed to come to sort of a natural, end.
Hey! We are joined by Amanda Ivan, who plays Amber Showers.
Hi, sorry, my camera.
That's okay, we're just getting started. We're talking about how it kind of seems like it may have come to a close, like maybe it was a joke that only lasts for so long. Even though we tried to reinvent it a couple times with cops and zombies and stuff to keep it going.
Cops and zombies and Pornstar Detectives, it all makes sense.
Donald Trump was there.
He was!
He's the downfall of anything. So.
Signal. We'll get to 2019 in a minute. Let's talk about the beginning of the segment. Amanda, how did you find the character of Amber?
Take away all intelligence.
I think Amber's the slightly smarter one, so not all intelligence.
Yes,
just
I
most.
believe you said, I don't think I can make you be the dumb one.
Hi, Sam.
You're like, I just can't see you playing the dumber one. I was like, all right, that's cool. She's a really big heart, and this is like the thing that she is super passionate about is being a porn star and detectiving.
Same question, Sam. How did you find Stacy?
Well, we didn't talk about who was going to be dumber or smarter or anything. It's just the fact that they're porn stars. Just, you know, we talked about the stereotype. Mm-hmm. So I tried a couple different voices. First, like a really deep, sultry one. And then when we settled on the more breathy, airy, airheady one, she came naturally after that. Like what sort of mannerisms? So the character and her mannerisms sort of developed naturally after finding the right voice. Mm-hmm. And then I just had fun. She's chill. She likes to have fun. And, you know, she's actually super intelligent. But sex makes her stupid. But that wasn't in the very beginning.
No, you found that out much later.
Yeah, that was like.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but yeah, she came naturally after the voice was found.
So yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about
Squirrel.
the flashback episode we did. Did any of the origin stories surprise either of you? Obviously, you said you learned something new that she was super intelligent.
The typical trope, like especially from Seinfeld, where sex actually like helps keep women intelligent, that this was a flip on that. I was like, oh, that's different. That's very different.
Different is good though.
That was,
I thought it was really
I
funny.
thought that was a pretty funny surprise. It's like she used to be like genius level intelligent, but
And thank God we did that, because that makes the finale so much easier to write.
Well, and it gives
Bring
another
it back around.
it gives another aspect to the personality too, because you know she can be a little flat. There's only so many times you can say just like Frozen, and there's only so many times you can. You know, because she's a squirrel who sucked on some helium, and that's basically how I play her. You know, like Hammy from Over the Hedge. She's the squirrel. So you know, so it gave another level to play with because it comes out every now and then, and it's. I like Smart Stacy.
Anastasia Xanadu.
Anastasia Xanadu.
Oh, I forgot that was her name.
So, on that line, though, do you think it was a valid choice that she chose sex over the intelligence? And honestly, they both went into porn because they wanted to. They weren't desperate. They weren't broke. They weren't degraded. They found their own empowerment through it.
Well, like I said, she's passionate about it.
Right, absolutely.
That's what her
They have
passion.
huge hearts. No, I'm kidding. But they do. They do. They have this passion. They care about it. They may not be good at it, but they sure try so hard.
I feel like they're really good porn
I think
stars.
they're good at being
Yeah.
porn stars.
They
But
are.
they're not good at being actresses.
No, well, not many.
No.
But they're good at being porn stars, but like beyond that, like they care about all the people in their lives.
They do.
You know, like I mean, we have these three gentlemen
Which
that.
we'll talk to you guys in a minute. I
Yeah.
promise.
No one wants to hear what you have to say.
But like, yeah, they and even when they run into like graves and you know later on and what's Virgil?
Sims.
That's it. I'm like Virgil and Dan, you know, those guys. But you know, like they just totally embrace whoever runs into their path, like they're their best friend.
Barry. The serial
They're-
killer.
Right. They're like, it's fine. Oh wait. That was one of my favorite episodes.
That
to
was
do.
super fun.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
Now, we met, the three guys we have with us who have all three been in a lot of episodes.
Both three.
Both three.
Both three of us.
So now I'm talking like a porn star.
It rubs off, you know.
But you all three of you, God, more.
I got that one.
We're in the pilot. So you were all there from the beginning. You were all in a bunch of episodes. We even made Bruce a lead character for a little bit at the end, before he got killed off.
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, absolutely. But Bruce, when we met him, he did not like them very much, even though they worked for him.
Yeah, that is correct.
But then in the flashback, where we saw them become porn stars, we saw that he did see something in them that he liked.
Yep.
So what do you think informs Bruce's relationship to the girls?
I think there's a part of him that's just like, porn's easy. They want to do it. Let's make some money. And then he realizes that he's just
What a
in too
handful.
deep.
Ah.
And
God.
it gets to a point where, because I think they're making him money, but then it kind of slows down and stops once they start detectiving until he becomes their manager.
Well, in the flashback, you're not even that like Bruce isn't that actively. He's like
Wanted
the
nothing.
other guy's like, should we really be here at this?
Who's
stage?
the other guy?
Seamus
Jack.
character name.
Yeah, but
See, it's funny.
You're like, this seems kind of weird, man, and like it
We're in
almost
high
seems like
school.
you sort of accidentally fell into this profession also.
Just a happy accident.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he really knows
You say
what
it was a
else to
happy
do.
ending?
Like, when he decides to become their manager, I feel like he's kind of at a loss for what's going on, and this is something familiar he can go back to and try to make something for him.
Yeah, and then he goes to jail, and it's just...
Well, the jail is before that, but yeah.
It's just... Yeah, it gets... it's
But
all
and the
over
jail was a little bit the girl's fault, kind of accidentally.
a little bit.
They defended you.
They-
They helped get you off.
Did they?
No.
Okay.
Unintentional fist bump. But they helped to get you out of trouble. They helped clear your name.
Sure.
Well, do you think deep down that he really does care about them, or
He sacrificed himself for them. At least
let's talk about his death.
I hope he did.
Talk about his death. Do you think that's how he should have gone out?
I wish I could say there was a different way he should have, but I mean, it was fun to be like, oh, Bruce does like them, even though he's just pissed off the rest of the time. No, I didn't expect him to go that way, but I didn't hate it.
I thought there was always something a little nice about Bruce, even when he was a jerk. He gets tired and stressed, and
And he
that's
stuck
the part
around.
we usually saw.
He could have left, and he
Right.
didn't. He was
Right.
still there the whole
Yeah.
time.
Well, then we've got Joe, who plays Brettley, Stacy's nephew.
Yes.
What did you think about being nephew to a porn star?
That's what sold me on the part to begin with. Like, you know what? This sounds fun. I'll play. I don't remember how old he is. I don't remember when we started. How old was he? Because I forget.
We've never actually established until the finale. We're establishing he's just turned 18.
Yeah.
But he started like pre-adolescent, 12, 13, something
Yeah,
there.
something like
We'd
that.
have to figure out the math.
when you
and-
just can't control the
Right,
the
exactly.
mask?
It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm a 12-year-old boy. We all, at least the boys around here, remember being a 12-year-old boy, and I'm still a 12-year-old boy no matter what. But yeah, I was intrigued by the fact that he was the nephew to a porn star, and the voice I remember, I based it off of it's called either the Oni or the One-E cartoons, and it's called Leo and Satan. And so I based it off of Leo. There's that holy fucking shit. This is just, and I loved that voice. I loved that cartoon. And then I was like, I want to try and do this. And so that's kind of where Brentley was based off of.
Did you think Brentley ever had a chance with Amber, or did you think Stupid Kid?
I thought stupid kid the whole time until then later on you're like, hey, this is what's gonna happen, and I'm like, oh.
Well, to be fair, had they not ended up in a zombie apocalypse trapped together by themselves for the end of time, they probably would not have.
Oh,
don't
I
think would've gotten
guarantee no, it wouldn't have happened.
desperate times call
Yeah.
for desperate measures.
Circumstances.
Yeah, and then I felt bad for him because then it's like, oh, he finally was like, oh, Sage, because that's the character that says age. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that makes sense, and then that ended too, and that ended right away.
Me. Sage's death surprised me.
It was more we
Yeah.
had too many characters going
Yeah.
in the finale. We had to trim them down. Trim the fat. Do you think Brentley was more upset about Sage's death, his parents' death, or his dog's death?
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So why the poor kid just dealt with so much? I think his dog's death honestly made him more sad than anything.
Yeah.
Because Sage was, there was a girl that just was always picking on him, and then finally she's like, oh, I like you too, duh. And then, and it's like, oh, his parents died too, but then it seemed like, I don't know, he was more upset that his dog Gus died.
Honestly, I think it was just a lot going on at once.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it all happened kind of at once.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Bradley got to
Yeah,
survive
I
the
was.
series?
Yeah, I was surprised
One of
because
only 3 characters?
well, you had told me, you were like, oh, by the way, I feel bad, so I'm going to let you live.
We've taken everything else away.
Yeah, you're like, I felt really bad. So I was more excited because one of my goals ever being an actor when I was a kid, I said, hey, I want to be in some kind of horror thing and be the survivor in some way. And I'm like, I succeeded.
You're
I
the only
can,
one besides the title character?
I
It's
can
like, God,
retire
I know
now.
how much
Shane, Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
What do you think about Larry?
Well, obviously, I think he started off as just sort of like a one-time kind of a thing, right? Or you didn't
I knew
really-
the
or was
3
it-
of you were in the pilot because the 3 of you were the reoccurring characters
Okay.
I had in mind to use.
Yeah, it was. Well, you think porn shop?
Sure.
It's got to be kind
Fits
of
in the
kind of a
story.
seedy character like Brooklyn, like that, like.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Everyone from Brooklyn just turned this off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I hope you're happy.
It's too hipster.
He seemed to really have feelings for Stacy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they were his best customers, too, on top of that.
I think they probably although he kept giving her discounts.
That's true. Well, even for well, I think it was a trade more than discount.
Yeah.
Did you ever think they might end up together, that Larry had a shot with Stacy?
No. She's too good for him.
Yeah, she's
Sam, what do you think? Do you think they had a shot?
I've never actually thought about it. I think it would have been kind of interesting because, Kevin left her. Larry's always been very nice to her. And she's, but now that you say, like, she's seen that
about Kevin.
I fully
Her
forgot about
boyfriend we
Kevin.
never ever
I
saw.
forgot Kevin. It was his jacket, right?
Yes.
If Stacy can only be smart or become Anastasia when she's not having sex, what happens if she ever gets married? She's
Oh man, she's sunk. She's gonna be so smart.
Oh, she's gonna be red. She's gonna become the top. She'll become a superhero.
I was playing with this trope.
The top notch.
Oh, no, are you tying it all into it? Oh, no.
No, those two are not connected. I promise
What?
you right now.
I'm
and
just putting it out there.
They're not in the same universe.
Not with that attitude.
However, Porn Stars was in the same universe as a second segment. Was anyone surprised to discover that the Scary Dad was in the same world as Porn Stars?
After
the fact.
No.
No.
We had talked about it a little bit beforehand, so it wasn't too much of a surprise. I don't know if did anyone not know ahead of time?
I didn't know. I
Really?
didn't know till when Larry showed up in
Yeah.
A Scary Dad. I was like, is it the same Larry?
And that's when I found out,
it
too.
was- I don't remember if you were vague about it.
I was vague
mean,
about it.
It's the same Larry, but okay, maybe it's a different alt universe Larry.
Yeah, I hadn't
it's,
decided at that point, so yes. But Dallas said you weren't surprised, right?
I wasn't. I feel like someone told me, and I don't
Oh, okay.
remember now.
Yeah, we got to the trial, like I said, the first anniversary, 13 episodes in. They became detectives, 5 episodes in? Like, really early on. Do you think we jumped the gun on making them detectives and having them work with the police department?
I think you think you jumped the gun because you said this a million
I'm
times.
The writer has a question about an opinion that you may have.
No, I know what my opinion is. I'm asking your opinions.
I think maybe a little bit, but I know we really wanted to drive the story forward. It's a really hard, and we've talked about this before, it's a really hard thing to write for, and it's a really hard thing. We sort of set them on this path, and it's a very straight path that these girls are on, and we needed to shake it up. I think it was a little early, but it didn't turn out bad in any way. So
You could only have two dumb characters talk to each other for so
Yes.
long before
Exactly.
they're air quotes dumb characters quotes. You can only have them talk to each other for so long before you have another thing that has to drive them, or they will just
Right.
sit and watch paint.
I mean, how fun would that
hours.
be, though, as like a visual gag?
This
It's just
episode.
to have us for a whole episode for just 20 minutes.
9 pages of staring at walls and
Staring at walls.
trying to answer the phone.
Memorizing colors.
Memorizing colors.
Yep.
Sam definitely pushed the boundaries of how long she would stare at a wall and not speak in the middle of a segment. We had to cut a lot of those down for the podcast because it works visually. It doesn't work for the audio.
They were just like,
I was about
You
to
insert like sotto voce. She's staring.
We should have had Amber do that. I didn't think about that. She is her seeing eye dolphin, so that
Yep.
makes sense.
And cat.
Or
Yeah,
whatever.
seen a cat a few times.
A dat. Cat.
So obviously they worked with the detectives. Unfortunately, Virgil von Hartzel and Dan Condo could not join us today, but
Boo.
right here we're going to insert a few words they had to say about their characters.
Everyone be quiet.
let's guess what the words are.
Now.
How did you enjoy playing Graves and Sims?
I felt we worked very well in tandem. We were pretty cool with each other in general when we joined the casts at similar times, and I think our characters complement each other. They may be at odds, it feels like, but we do enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, Sims kind of helps even Graves' uncontrollable rage out a little bit.
I think a lot of people liked when they joined the cast because it gave it a new energy, and then were sad when they went away. Do you guys wish you gotten to do more episodes?
I definitely wish I could do a little more. I just am constrained by distance at this point. Well, it was kind of distance before, now it's really distance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to just say ditto to that.
Yeah, Yeah.
Say Virgil wins the distance
He
award right
does.
now.
He does win the
Living in the
distance
state of
award.
Arizona and commuting to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Dan, you're just coming from West Virginia.
I'm just driving from West Virginia.
Yeah, that's
fine.
nothing.
That's nothing. That's 4 hours, you know.
Were you glad the characters returned for the miniseries finale?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I felt they were such an important part of the growth, if you will, of Ember and Stacy.
Yes,
And,
they learned a
yeah.
lot from us, didn't they?
Yes. I think they
Yeah.
finally got their
No,
high
they
fives
really
together.
didn't.
That was
Oh,
about,
well, yes.
that was about it.
Their high fives actually connect now.
Yes.
They got that from us.
Oh, okay. That
They
was the
did.
thing they learned from
We
you?
high five all the time. Isn't that right, Sims?
Yes, that's what they learned in training camp.
We high five all the time.
Did you like where your characters were 2.5 years later when we checked back in with them? Would you have liked to have seen something different? Graves, your chief of police.
Yes.
And Sims is in a serious relationship with Heath Heather, moonlighting at the club.
He's got it all, baby.
Yeah.
He's got it all. He's living the life I wish I lived.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes. The life of a successful businessman.
And assless chaps, no less.
Ashless chaps. Oh my gosh, I need to get me a pair of those.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Sims was still a cop. We didn't talk about it, but I'm pretty sure he was still a cop.
Yeah, I think the whole
He just helped
helping
out.
Heath Heather with the nightclub deal was just part time and
Yeah.
just helping her accomplish her goals as well as trying to do his own. So I think it was great, and I think it might have been a great, I guess, reflection on what I do outside of the IABD.
Mm-hmm.
I work a lot, and then I do this on my spare time because I love to do it.
It was nice to see Sims in a healthy relationship before your lover was killed.
Before it happened.
Did you...
That destroyed me.
Yes. I'm here for you, my friend.
It didn't make it in the story, but do you think Graves was in a relationship?
I'd like to think that he was.
What type of person would he be in a relationship with?
Jillian Michaels.
Perhaps. We may never know. I don't know. I would like to think he dated a woman of some repute at some point. I honestly don't know who the hell would want to date Graves. You know, well, I like to think that he found love somewhere.
And
He was married to the job.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
I mean, chief of police.
His wife
that's
was
pretty
his work.
good. So
Their love was beautifully filthy.
Inseparable only due to the, they only separated because of the Commanders-in-Chief's request.
Yes.
So how did you guys feel about Graves killing Sims at the end?
I genuinely got a little choked up when we were in rehearsal.
I don't think it could have been done any better. I think that Graves was the person that was going to kill Sims from the very beginning.
You're my old yeller.
Even if he hadn't turned into a zombie?
Correct.
No, man. Sims is my partner. I'll do it.
And Graves, what do you think of your death?
I wish I could have been there for it.
You die sacrificing yourself to save Stacy and Amber.
Die
Oh,
a hero's death.
I'm guessing he still doesn't like them, but he knows he has to do his duty. Duty.
Anything else you want to say about the Pornstar Detectives in general, or
That they're idiots.
final thoughts?
Sorry, that was Graves coming out. I'm sorry.
They did their best.
They do their best with what they have. It's not much.
Yes.
It's what they have.
I mean, they did cure the zombie apocalypse in the series finale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, this is the problem with recording this the month
Yes.
early. You guys don't know this.
I have revised my They still suck, but I mean, we still love them.
Quite literally, in fact, they do.
Now, when
Yes,
she
but-
offered me that blowy shortly before I passed away, I wanted
Should've
to take her
taken
up
it up
on it.
on
I
it.
mean,
Yeah,
that was
should've
going to be
taken
my
her up
last
on that.
blowy alive.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sims swung that way.
Well, I think he swings all
Or
sorts
he's
of different
open-minded.
ways. He's very
It's the
open-minded.
end of the world. I think you could, from a person that you don't normally get such an act from. but
Because I mean,
know,
you got nothing. You don't have to worry about STDs. Because I mean,
No.
you're going to be dead in 5
you can be
minutes.
dead. You can see dead kings before you die.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to end this
Just
now.
inner
But thank you
scientists.
both very much for playing Graves and Sims, an invaluable part of Pornstar Detectives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we're back. So that was Virgil and Dana, who unfortunately are not here today, but we recorded some last month before they were gone. The really sad part about that is Dan did not get to play Graves in the series finale, which is a big bummer. Unfortunately, we found out about his internship where he's doing his Passion of Train stuff after May was already set, and it was too late to we couldn't hold the finale for 5 months to wait for him to come back. So,
But he had a really good run though.
He sure did.
Him showing up and saving the
Internship,
day.
yeah.
It was so great.
yeah, Graves wasn't actually going to be in the penultimate episode. That got rewritten so Dan could play him one more time and say goodbye to Sims.
Which was such a great
Oh, that was a great little scene. That was so sad.
Oh, Virgil. And when he lost his girlfriend, Heath Heather. His boy girlfriend.
That was the other
I
part
love-
Shane contributed.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that whole thing happened just because the audition packet said Heath/Heather because it could be played by either a male or female, and so I took that literally. And made it a Heath Heather.
Victor
Which
Victoria.
was so funny.
You coming out on stage with the
Pink
Pink
boa.
pink boa, which somehow ended up in my car for a very long time
Oh,
afterwards.
really long time.
And like I still sometimes occasionally will find like a pink feather and I'm just like, what? I know where this is from.
She's here.
One day you'll
Always
go to
in
sell
spirit.
it, and you'll find one last feather.
One last feather.
The last.
Did you
feather.
think in your first episode, Heath Heather, that Heath Heather would end up with Detective Sims?
No, like
Because you added that flirtation. That was not so much there.
that is like the best like occurring, not even reoccurring, but just the second time that you see the character, like that's like, oh, surprise, you're with this other character who you've known for a really long
Yeah.
time. Like, I had no idea.
So do you think since we do have surviving characters from both of these segments, Dallas got really excited.
Oh, yes!
Do you think there may be some special down the road that combines the surviving characters of both segments?
Oh, I think
I
you could
have some
definitely
ideas.
have
Never know about them.
him meet Courtney.
Sage? No, I'm not Sage.
Brentley meet Courtney, and Coco can come back and like meet these two.
So, anything that we didn't get to in Pornstar Detectives that you would have liked to have seen?
I wanted to see more background of Amber. Yeah. And
We got some worked in, but not a lot at the end.
yeah, and more about her family beyond Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. I mean, clearly she isn't close to Cousin Donnie. She does not approve of him at all.
Cousin Donnie.
I think it's clear that they're not like the best of friends at all. So, no, you're right. It would have been nice. I feel like
Because we got a lot of Stacy's background
Yeah.
and family and like
we did.
and her relationships with other characters and none from Amber.
Well, maybe that'll have to be the part of the special down the road.
Flashback.
I don't know. What else would you have liked to have seen that we didn't get to do?
I want to see Stacy with a gun.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Oh, wow, okay.
Escalated.
Don't you guys remember that was a thing? They kept being like,
She
we
really
get to have guns.
Yeah. Because I feel like if you guys had guns, you would somehow shoot each other. And then
That's how the finale ends. Stop giving it away.
Bruce would have died much sooner.
There's also a tiny part of me
They
that
would've
wants
shot
to
some-
believe they don't know what guns are. They think it's like a badge or something. And they're like, I don't want this. You wanted
What do I
guns.
do with this? It looks like a dildo.
They thought
Yeah,
the
that
muscles
too, yeah.
just went in their arm. That was
Or they're actually like expert marksmanship. Like,
Oh,
because they know. Oh,
good aim.
They're winter,
actually,
they're
so-
winter soldiers.
I've always kind of wanted them to start to, very glacially, slowly, like develop some sort of skills. Because if you're doing something for so long,
You're gonna develop
You're
something.
going
They
to
did
do-
manage to perfect the high five after several
that's
years.
that's true.
There's several years.
Now, was that something that was scripted of missing
No.
the high five? You just did it on.
Nope,
on the
they
first-
came up with missing the high five all on
Yeah.
their own.
No, it's been a year. Let's say they've been. We don't know what they've been doing for that
Well,
year.
no,
No, no, at
They've
the
just
beginning.
been-
The
The
very
first one,
beginning that
did
you
the-
guys
the-
missed the high five.
Did you just did that on? Was that a happy accident? Did
no.
you miss on
I
purpose?
think I said that would be really funny
If we kept missing.
If we kept missing,
It was
like,
not scripted,
Yeah.
though. We just did it, and it worked. And
That's
then
awesome.
it was the 1 year anniversary. The first time we hit.
Or was it? No, it was our first show at Mad Lab.
Oh, okay, yeah. The first time we connected, and the audience, is you could hear Chase go, and then we just held it, and we're just our hands were together. We're just looking at it like it's this deity. It was
I seem to remember
Frickin'
making
brilliant.
it sound like.
yeah,
But that was clearly a fluke because then they started missing again.
Which is
Yeah,
really
it was just-
funny on the podcast because you just hear high five. And you're like, what just happened?
everyone's whiffed a high five before. Everyone's gonna be because that'll take you back to I've done that before. I've made that noise.
Were there any side characters besides Barry that you liked and would have liked to have seen again?
I would have liked to see more of Hans because it was sort of like you thought he was going to be more reoccurring, and then it was more just like
That was a zombie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to see the fluffer more.
I was just gonna say that.
Brendan's fluffer.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I would
We
just,
did not have time to revisit their porn co-stars in the finale.
It would have been fun to see them more on set stuff
Yeah.
over detective stuff.
Oh,
Boy
I think
banana
I-
himself
I think
for
I
that
played a
thing.
porn star.
Gee, Pornstar Detectives.
What?
And I love that the spelling of it is all, it's Pornstar is all one word. And I remember you were very specific about that when we started our marketing. You were because
it's not one
you
word
texted
in
me
real life.
one day and you were like, there shouldn't be a space between porn and star. And I was like, okay, Pornstar. And no one's ever corrected it. I fought really hard for Gus to survive.
She did. She didn't think it was right to kill a
I
dog.
begged. Well, it wasn't just that, but I begged because I thought it would have been funny for you to have, because you were talking about spinoff, for Brentley and Gus to have their own spinoff, like I Am Legend, and he's just him and his dog, and him and his dog, and then you could sell like zombie survival kits for IABD.
No offense to Brendan, because he did just fine in that final episode of Gus, but once we lost Addie as a regular cast member, that it didn't feel right to have Gus in it.
Yeah.
Oh, like I understand, but I
'Cause
was just
that-
like, oh,
Addie was just so perfect
But a
as
boy and his
Gus.
dog.
Amanda's
Because
sister.
was that in? That wasn't intended for her
No,
to actually
she's-
read the
No,
descriptions of
that
the
was
park. So
already
that was
script.
that's genius. I love
Addie's
that.
like, I can't growl. I was like, well, just try. I can't bark. Just try.
How did you get this
annoyed
role?
bark.
Annoyed bark.
Dogs do two things.
Yeah. No, we definitely reached out to her about coming back, but she wasn't available, unfortunately. But that wasn't, once I knew Addie wasn't coming back for that, and then I was like, well, trying to figure out when we could get her back, it just made sense to get rid of Gus so that we didn't have to worry about anybody else taking over that
I
role.
tried.
Sorry.
I tried really hard.
So sad.
Sorry. Let's end this with the one
Death.
thing you loved most about Pornstar Detectives. What did you love, or what will you miss about this segment?
Start with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, this is a selfish one, but the thing I love that Larry has creeped his way into other sketches. Like,
And he won It's All Been Done Madness this year.
He did.
He did.
that's right. Like,
He's been in
That was a fierce battle,
arguably
too.
4 different segments. of this
yeah,
book.
The Battle
but
of
no,
Shames.
just the like. It's just been a lot of fun to be in that world, and the fact that it merged with another segment that we were doing. Like,
And Larry was the main connector.
yeah.
See, I don't know. I think what I will miss is because at least I remember when we first started, and that was we all were at Jim's house, and that was the first thing we were or it was not the first thing we were reading, but it was one of the first things we were reading. And it was just like I was like, this is why I'm in this, because this is just outrageous, and it's just of how it has actually progressed along too.
I wish
think
we
that's-
recorded those rehearsals back then.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was such a good one.
Where we're all like, is he going to do a stupid voice? Because I'll do a stupid voice if he does.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because that was when
And then
like most
people
people
being
didn't
surprised.
know
Like, I
anyone,
found
so
this
we were
out.
like,
Like, I found
okay,
this on Craigslist,
we're just gonna
so-
sit here.
When we still might be murdered. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I drove 2 hours away. Am I gonna live or die? I don't know. We'll find out.
Craigslist has done
Right.
worse.
You didn't know we weren't serial
I
killers.
was like, I knew nobody. And I'm
Well,
like,
I think I blind copied everybody's emails because I want you to. Because I was like, oh, it's probably not right that I just give out everybody's emails to everybody. So then, as far as you knew, you were the only one on that
I'm
email.
like, I don't know. I was like, hey, I'm going to Columbus. And you're like, for what? I'm like, I don't know.
An
just-
acting gig that I
Like,
found
it's
on the
fine.
internet.
I'm going to somebody's house for it. They're like, do you know them? No. That's okay.
And yet, not a single person pulled out when I told them to come to my house. Oh God.
My favorite thing about Pornstar Detectives is that whenever we did this, I didn't have to go, oh, I have to work on my voice for this, because it was just me being annoyed, which is just me every day. No, so I liked every time I thought Bruce was gone forever, and then he would come back. Like, he went to jail, and I was like, I think that's the end. And then he'd come back, and I was like, oh, he's back. And then he got killed, and I was like, and now he's...
Well, the series was ending by the time you knew he was
Exactly,
dying. So, Amber and Stacy.
Pornstar Detectives.
It was in my head. I'm like,
Oh, before we let them have the final word, we should say Chase rocked that theme
Yes.
song.
Oh yeah.
And how
Every
many
time.
times do we give him new lyrics for it? And he gets so mad every time.
How many times did he curse you for changing the
Because in the
lyrics?
finale, he had to sing it 2 different ways.
and I remember every time he would sing, he goes, oh,
Can I not be at this show? I'm
Chase,
gonna
did you look at the
skip this
script?
year.
Yes!
It's like every time at rehearsals he'd do it. It's like, and he inevitably he'd mess it up on the rehearsals every time. It's like, it's been like 3 years. But he
But it
always
was
aced
also
it.
the 5th version I'd sent him.
True, but he'd always ace it on the show. So that's what.
Well, I remember at one rehearsal, he was messing up the lyrics, so everyone else just sang the whole thing from memory, and he just looked at us like, really, guys?
What did you think of him coming in as a character in the finale?
I love it.
I liked that a lot.
I love it, and I love that.
Wasn't too weird?
No, I thought it was great because
Okay.
it
And
makes
the
sense.
super fan, that it's perfect time.
It was a
That
very
was great.
visual joke that the podcast audience may not get the real story, but every time Chase missed a way to play a recording of him singing, we let Marianne come in and dance and wear, like, vests with their pictures all over it and stuff. So we developed this. She was instrumental in developing that she was the super fan that had Chase locked in her basement and kept him tied up.
Was she a fan of their porn or their detective work?
Yes.
Okay.
All of it.
Yes.
She's a fan of Chase singing the theme song.
But my favorite is when she would come on stage in between, Amanda and I, and just like, and like lightly touch, like just so creepily. She was hilarious.
So Amanda and Sam, final words. What do you love most? What are you gonna miss? What do you want to say to the audience?
I'll miss, for me, like, my favorite part was when it was the four of them, like Amber and Stacy and Graves and Sims, and like sort of their misadventures. And I think just having that group together.
I don't know. It was one of the first ones developed, and it's kind of sad. I wasn't expecting to be this sad, but I'm really sad now. I'm gonna miss Stacy. She's super fun and really fun to play, and I hope we see her again. But I don't know. I'm gonna miss my awkward silences, even though I could do that with other characters. She was my favorite one to just blank out because every time, I have a really good blank stare. I looked like a creepy China doll, but Joe's shaking his head.
Yeah, he's like, yep.
It's really creepy, and you get that wide Joker grin, and it's I like playing to the audience a lot, and I like their reactions. So I'm gonna miss Stacy and the interactions with the audience.
What about you, Jim? What are you gonna miss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss Jim.
This was honestly the hardest segment to write.
Okay, and with that.
Except when they were detectives. It flowed really well when they were detectives. And I also had fun writing the miniseries finale, but I'm really glad it was Amanda and Sam playing them. I think they did a good job creating these characters, and while I felt like I was kind of at an end of the story, I will miss it too. I really enjoyed this segment. It's All Been Done Radio Hour number 170. Story Roundtable number 2, Pornstar Detectives Post-Mortem. Yes, this was only our second Story Roundtable, and like the first one, it involved the end of a series. We have some more Story Roundtables coming up, which does not mean that any of our other series are ending. They aren't. But we're going to start talking to the cast of series that are still running as part of more in the Story Roundtable program. Anyway, you heard from all the great actors. You already heard their names. We're not going to go over that again, but what we will say is please donate at patreon.com/IABD. That'll let us do more of these roundtables. That'll help us produce more additional work so you can get more behind-the-scenes stuff. That'll free up some time to work on the wiki that we have that we never talk about, but there is an It's All Been Done Presents wiki, mostly filled out for It's All Been Done Radio Hour. Lists of episodes with links to podcast episodes, character descriptions, episode descriptions, live show breakdowns. It's still in progress, but there's already a lot there, about 100 pages already filled out. So head over, if you go to itsallbeendonepresents.com, you'll see the links to get to our wiki under stories. Until then, have a great week. It's All Been Done Presents.
Who's got the time?